We're constantly facing tensions in our leadership, in our projects, in our personal lives, in our work. One we hear often is the tension between performing and learning. When you're in the performing mode, your head's down. You're thinking about, how do I hit my targets? How do I prove my worth? How do I build my skills, develop my resume? But when you're in the learning mode, you pull your head up, you look around. I don't know what I don't know. How do I continue to learn and develop? Without learning, you can find yourself flat-footed no matter how well you perform. Likewise, you need the performing to keep fueling your ability to learn. But our typical default as humans is what we would consider either or. We're going to make a decision between A or B, between performing or learning. In fact, it can be detrimental because over the long haul, we are going to need both. We think about this as a paradox mindset, a different approach to thinking about tensions that helps us move toward both-and thinking.
We think of two different patterns of adopting paradox mindsets. The first is what we typically think of when we think of a both-and. The classic win-win. Both sides get what they need in a much better, synergistic, integrative approach. Think about the tension between performing and learning. Maybe there's moments in which you're really able to accomplish both at the same moment. You go to a conference and bring your team along with you. You're all learning together, but at the same time, you are creating the opportunities for your team to deepen their integration with one another. These classic win-wins we call the mule, because the mule is smarter than a donkey, stronger than a horse, a real classic hybrid. The challenge, though, is that while we think the mule is the ideal, it doesn't happen that often. The other pattern we call tightrope walking, in which we are constantly making micro shifts between the opposing ideas. That is, they're moving forward by continually making micro shifts between left and right in order to stay on the tightrope. They're never fully balanced. They're constantly balancing. They're also not making decisions in which they are over-focused on one side or the other. Otherwise, they're going to fall off the tightrope. And so what that looks like is, for example, in performing and learning, sometimes we're focused on our performance, on efficiency, on moving forward, on hitting our targets. And other times we take a pause for reflection, for learning, for experimentation, for risk-taking. We never overemphasize one side or the other, but we're constantly making micro shifts between the two. Both-and thinking allows us to move forward creatively, both with mules and with tightrope walking.